Well, there's a couple things I gotta do today. First off, I've got to order some eyes. Whether or not I wanted to go with a Western dragon, so 4 legs, big wings, Eastern dragon, slinky little thing, no wings. Now, I did kind of look at the lines that the piece of driftwood that I've got that I'm now recreating as a small tree, what that's bringing to the elements of design. And so last night before bed, I made a rough sketch of the major component lines that my tree is bringing to me, the weight that the nest is pulling in, and then of course the rough proportions of the base. So I will be going to Van Dyke Taxidermy and we'll be getting a couple of eye flints. Eye flints are basically glass eyes with a pupil, and they have no color. So this is how I start all these dragons for all of those who don't know, and all of those are like, it's a mystery. There's actually an awful lot of leg and research into it. I'm not making a shorebird, I'm looking for color eye references, feather patterns, body styles, and general lines. I'm looking at a final taxidermy piece. It's not because I'm just randomly pulling something out of my arse. It's because I'm actually digging into some anatomy features that other shorebirds have or other flying animals have. This is just some of the stuff I found. This is some kind of shorebird. Real loud markings, black and white feathers, and a really loud eye. So the reason I'm saving this is not necessarily because I want to use it as a coloration pattern, but it's kind of a notation. If I'm getting this guy done, then I want to change up my coloration, or if I haven't really fixated on it, what that's going to look like. So the real loud orange and the bright eye sounds like a great idea, but it's so distracting that I would actually be really worried that it would overpower and distract the viewer. So then this is, what did I call that? This is a bird from Hawaii, which is a long-tailed skua. I just looked this up a few minutes ago. So I think this is like a long-tailed skua, and one of the reasons that I'm looking at this is because it's got real striking, bold marks. Nothing on this is overly bright, and the shot itself kind of reminds me of, you know, the shots from the air shows of the, you know, Blue Angels and such. But that long tail is what I kind of have to keep in mind, mostly because it is going to be a dragon, so it's going to have a really long tail. So I want to kind of look at how it's going to affect the lines of it. This is a kind of flycatcher. This is an African flycatcher. So again, a bird that has a really, really long tail that's like 2 to 3 times the length of its body. Well, this one's actually labeled as an Asian one. So I don't know if they're similar in color. But you've got that kind of chestnut color with a dark reflective blue. Now, I was kind of going and thinking about something similar to this color, brown being incorporated into the dragon because the algae and some of the shore, like the crap that grows on the rocks, when it's dying, it becomes this really pretty chestnut color, and the rocks look furry because that's the way it works with the shore and the tide going in and out. So that might be a color that I'm going to bring into it as kind of some kind of more natural camouflage. So this is another kind of shorebird, again black and white, but the real thin, pointy looking beak. Now when I sketched the one out that I kind of played with, I kind of went with something more, a longer, thinner beak, but more of like a predator bill. And you find with a lot of shorebirds that they either have a real pointy bill to get into the sand, or they have like a duck bill where they kind of can get in the water and sift out stuff with their face. Flamingos have an upside down bill. I have a lot of options that I can go with when I'm talking about comparing waterbird bills to what you would see in like an aquatic animal or a lizard or even a reptile. And that's not even including like a Chinese alligator where they have that really long, or caiman, a really, really, really long snout with all their teeth very pronounced. So it's going to depend on how really, truly vicious I want to make this guy look. So this ugly with a side of ugly, just damn. Seagulls. This is not a long-necked shorebird, dumbass. That's a freaking red-tailed hawk. That's a long-necked shorebird. Types of seabirds. This is another one that's up. Damn. Like, storks are ugly. They're not pretty at all. I mean, you really have to dumb down the way a stork looks in order to make it look cute. Those animated storks that are in the Pixar movie with the cloud look nothing like actual storks. Storks are horrifying looking. I don't know why, but this guy right here, this egret, just made me think of the green heron that's like, nighttime, daytime. Nighttime! Daytime! What you doing? I'm playing nighttime, daytime. I don't know why. This is the kind of shit that I think of while I'm doing research. Okay, again, Photoshop, Photoshop. This one right here. That's just stupid. Who do you think you're fooling? Randy's freaky barn. Randy, your freaky barn is f***ing stupid. Alright, this guy I like right here. So this guy is really what you look at when you're looking at long birds landing, and they're really in the active stage of landing. That's great blue heron here. So it kind of takes it from that level thing to continuing having up lines, but the neck brings you down back into the line of sight where it would be looking at the nest. So maybe we could consider that it would be maybe landing on an upper branch. I'm thinking out loud now. We could make it think it's like landing on an upper branch somewhere. Don't know. We're gonna keep this one for the action lines, and we're gonna move on. Actually, this is how birds fly, so we're gonna check this site up real quick. Cranes flying at twilight, downy feathers. Okay. And I think when I was thinking of the top line, I was more in kind of thinking of lines like this. Where I just wanted to create a solid top line. So we're going to save this one. So this is rowing 2. Rowing 3, imagine. Yep. So what's really nice about this, and I'm really glad I stumbled upon this, is because it gives me not only the top line that I was looking for. So it gives me that top line that I originally sketched out. But I would imagine that if while the wings were in this state, because if you notice when the wings go down, the legs go up. So I imagine if I have the wings up a little bit higher than the body, the tail would go down to counterbalance. And that would bring me to an anchor that I could anchor to the tree. So I really like this one right here, that row flying. 20 minutes later, I got sort of a line drawing 3-dimensional scale. Yes, to pull noodles, get your, it could be the Enterprise, it could not, just kidding. Alright, so basically, going off some rough scaling from our squirrel mount. So we've got roughly the hips back here on this section, and then we've added about another 3 inches to the body. Mock for the shoulders right here, that's what this one is. And then drastically increasing the length of the neck. Now this actually might be too long for the neck, but it'll at least give us an idea. And of course then we've got, these are just mock-ups so I can have some concept of lines for the wings. And we can kind of play with this now. So let's move this over us a little bit. There we go. Okay, so originally I kind of wanted this actually in like this, because a bird would actually come in away from it. However, that leaves me very little in the way of actually being able to have a decent place to mount it. There's nothing here to really mount it with. And if I maybe wanna do that. But I really want to keep this really strong top line going on here. So maybe I could lower him just a little bit. Okay, so I can't go in from this direction because that's just not going to work. So if I go this way, I limit the amount of width I can use on the wings by half. The width of this is only 12 inches, not 24, even though he's got a 24-inch wingspan, 26 with his body. So if I mount him here and have him kind of grabbing onto that there, I can do that. Let's take this and just kind of hook that here. I can't get this to just grab onto this stick. There we go. Just gonna wrap this around here. I'm not too worried about the so that kind of gives us our top line there. Maybe have him curling in like this. And that would actually give me more room for his wings, because instead of being directly this way or directly this way, it would give him a 3/4 inch, it would get diagonal on the base. So he could have a full arm length. Now keep in mind this is not really, it's meant to be mobile, it's meant to be posable. So yeah, then if I come in like this, yeah, that I like much more. So then he's down like this on the base.